Stranger Things Corrie crossover. I'm all for it, Vic. I am in for that. Welcome back to week 2 of Why Won't You Watch Corrie, the podcast where I continue my campaign, some might say harassment, to convince my sister Vic to watch Coronation Street. I'm Emily, newly obsessed, emotionally invested, and quite frankly, I'm thriving.
And I'm Vic, and I'm definitely still not watching.
Each week, I will watch a full week of Corrie and then attempt to explain it to Vic, badly, in the hope that she eventually caves. If you've listened to episode 1, you will know I only started watching in January because of the Emmerdale Coronation Street crossover episode. I don't know the backstory, I don't know who most people are, but what I do know is that this is excellent television. Now Vic, last week we moved you from a -5 to a 0 on the Corrie conversion scale. How are you feeling about that progress?
Well, honestly, I haven't thought about Corrie at all since last week when we recorded the episode. So, I'm feeling good about it.
All right, Vic, you have to buckle in. This week has been huge. We've got gasps, we've got laughs, we've got people behaving very suspiciously, and we begin with real life drama because this week on Corrie, Monday's episode was dropped early. And let me tell you right now, Monday's episode, absolutely divine. Okay, storyline 1 of the week, which I'm calling Flash Forward in the Swala Wedding.
Okay.
Now, I have to be honest, Vic, this was only on Monday's episode, but this has dictated the whole week and possibly the next few months of Corrie. This episode was huge.
Wow.
So this episode, in fact, I'm not even going to tell this as a storyline. This is probably more of an episode. So basically the episode opens with Betsy, who is, she is Lisa's daughter. Lisa and Carla are Swala. Just so you're aware. Okay, so Betsy is in a police station. She's being questioned by the police. She's wearing a lovely dress. She's emotional. She's being asked about something as it's going on. Now, this is a flash forward in time. And in it, she's wearing, they've got this like filter. Any flash forward scene, they've got this like filter on. So you know it's a flash forward bit. So basically, Betsy is crying. She's upset because she has found a body. And it also has transpired on this Monday's episode. We now know the date of the Swala wedding. So the Swala wedding is happening on the 23rd of April. So what they did on Monday is they've set up this now story that there's potentially 5 people. There is going to be someone who dies and it's out of 5 people. And we know who the 5 people are because they do that through the episode. So basically, Betsy's in the prison cell and they're going, so how you knew the person, you found this body, and it's just kind of, and she's emotional. And then what happens through the episode is there'll be a flash forward to the victim, the potential victim, and they're stood on the Coronation Street cobbles in various poses and doing various things. But they've all got like an injury of some description and there's fireworks going off in the background. Now, as we go through the episode, that's because Swala are talking about getting married and they're talking about having fireworks. So it must be the fireworks from their wedding are happening. And then these people are back at the street with various injuries. So Monday's episode was intense. Like, I'm not going to lie, I finished the episode with a layer of anxiety that I didn't know I could feel for TV, if I'm being completely honest. So I was like, what is going on here? And then the week basically followed some of these key stories, but not all of them. Some points I would like to highlight from this flash forward. So, as I said, the flash forward was really important and it was intertwined. And I personally felt like it was filmed really well. However, I would say that the bit with Betsy in the police cell, like the police officer was talking in the most, they obviously put like an echo on his voice of some description and it was just like really creepy.
Everyone needs an echo.
I mean, to be fair. But yeah, so that was a bit weird. But also the reveal of one of the 5 characters was a bit confusing and weird because obviously it would just click to them on the street, and the camera would be kind of going around them, and they'd be like, it was excellent TV, if I'm being completely honest. But my absolute favourite one, I should probably tell you who the 5 are. I'll tell you who the 5 are. So the 5 are the sister from the sister storyline with David, Shona and sister.
Yep.
It's Baldy from who we talked about last week briefly. You know, he's bold, so he's obviously bad.
Yep.
That's now been verified.
Big bad Baldy.
Big bad Baldy, verified bad. The mother-in-law potential victim here. And I tell you what, her flash forward is brilliant. But anyway, the teacher is a potential victim, the pedo teacher.
Okay.
And fat little piggy Theo is the fifth option.
Right, okay.
So the coercive controller.
So everyone we mentioned last week potentially could die, is what you're saying?
100%. They are all potential victims. My favourite flash forward sequence of one of these victims was the teacher, though. And the reason why, because she stood there on the street. There's this like bluey, dark sort of filter, I guess, on the camera. And it spins around her and her face is looking really anxious, and she's also got a bloody nose. And it just kind of felt like it gave me the vibes. You know how there's this elusive 9th episode of Stranger Things that's yet to be released?
Yeah.
With the spin around, the bloody nose, I was like, Elle, what are you doing here? Why are you in Corrie?
Maybe that's the next crossover.
A Stranger Things Corrie crossover. I'm all for it, Vic. I am in for that. Storyline 2, which I have called Harry Potter, Draco and Voldemort.
Of course you have. Of course that's what it's called.
Otherwise known as Harry Potter, the teacher and the pupil.
Wonderful.
So obviously last week ended with the pupil that she's been having the affair with getting arrested because the other teacher accused him of attacking him, right? So that was the end of last week. This week he comes out, the mother-in-law, who's his grandmother, link there,
right?
His grandmother basically gives him an alibi. It turns out I think it's a bit of a false alibi, but that happened on Monday or Tuesday, and that conversation just seems to have, that's gone. That seems to have gone away. There was a bit of an apology, a bit of a discussion with the teacher and that, but we've gone. Okay. But what then happens is this week now focuses more on Harry Potter's suspicion of the pupil and the teacher and their relationship, which I think we may have touched on last week, that he was suspicious of them, but this week that's been the main focus. So Harry Potter basically does a stakeout one night. He sees Will go into her apartment and then is stood outside, and then some woman who I think is a mother figure in his life kind of grabs him and takes him away. Not because she accuses him of stalking, but because she thinks he's just randomly hanging out on the street. But then also what he does is Harry Potter gets into the teacher's house and plants because he has a key, because there's some association where he can get access to the flat. He's got a key, I don't know, but he gets into the flat and he plants cameras at the teacher's house to try and catch them doing the act kind of thing. Him and the pupil. Unfortunately, so that happens. Will, the pupil, Draco, decides that he's going to try and befriend Harry Potter and basically manipulate him and be like, you know, be mates with him or whatever, and they get caught drinking vodka one day, and basically Harry Potter's dad is then concerned about Harry Potter, and they all think it's because of exam season and not because he doesn't tell them it's because he knows that the teacher's a massive pedo. So like that is a layer of confusion. So that's happening. They're all concerned and think he's acting out because he's studying. Will, Draco and Voldemort are basically doing everything they can to get him to shut up and back away. So Draco and Voldemort find the cameras. They find the surveillance cameras.
Yep.
So then they decide to threaten him basically and be like you can't, if so basically the teacher ends up going out for a night out with 3 other women. Now, I do not know who these women are, but they are referred to in the episode as Harry Potter's stepmum, and auntie. So I don't know. And also earlier on in the week, they talk about the fact that his something has happened to his mum. So I don't really understand why he's got 2 stepmums, and I don't know what's happened there, and it confused me, to be completely honest. But during that scene, the teacher basically turns around and says that if Harry Potter was to report her for her behaviour,
right,
or he better pipe down, because ultimately she can report him because they found the cameras of being a peeping Tom, and he would go on the sex offenders list and blah blah blah, and that basically sends him into a bit of overdrive kind of thing, because obviously now he thinks he's going to be a registered sex offender, which is ironic because she is a sex offender.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Okay. Oh, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of people blaming other people for their own issue.
I mean, I've been giving you the beginner-friendly version, so maybe I need to up it a notch and give you the pro version. Maybe you're there.
I don't think I am. I think I'm just confused.
Storyline 2. We are this storyline I'm calling 3 Men and a Prison Lady.
Nice. I like what you did there.
Lady. Yeah. Okay. So this storyline involves Boldy,
Big Bad Boldy,
Prison Lady,
okay,
and two other men who were briefly in it last week, I think. Boldy has a name, Victoria.
What? Oh,
Boldy,
I liked Big Bad Boldy.
We're still going to call him Big Bad Boldy, but his name is Carl. For anybody else that's interested, his name is Carl. Boldy is the son of the lady in prison, who I think I briefly touched on last week. There is an older lady in prison. I talked about an older and a younger lady in prison. There's an older lady in prison, and she is the mother of Big Bad Boldy. However, Big Bad Boldy thought until very recently that his mother was his sister. So he's only just discovered that he is the son and not the brother of her. Okay? So, and the reason she is in prison is because she is covering up for his crime. He did it. Oh. But she feels guilty that she spent all these years pretending to be his sister and not the mother. So that's why she's now taken the hit and is in prison on his behalf, I guess. Okay. So the other 2 men in this story are her husband, Ronnie, and her actual brother, Kev. Definitely brother, that one, because they're too close in age. It would be weird. So midway through the week, they also find out that Big Bad Boldy is her son, not her brother. They didn't know. So they find this information out. And then they realise that that's why she's in prison, because she's covering up for him. So they decide that they want to march him down the police station to basically admit that he's the one that should be in prison and not her. And they punch him in the face and whatever. And they go down the prison, and basically there's no evidence besides he said, she said, so nothing happens with that. Meanwhile, in prison, Debbie, who is the old lady, Debbie she's befriended a younger woman who actually, she seems quite nice. She seems like she's got her back. I'll stand by that. And then another woman who doesn't seem that nice and doesn't seem like she's got her back. And basically Debbie's trying to be funny with her, but actually ends up insulting her, so the woman punches her in the face. So then Carl, Big Bad Boldy, decides to come see his mother in prison. And they're both sat there with black eyes. So they got matching black eyes. And nice. Basically he's there pretending that he's like forgiven her for faking being his mum, but actually he's there to try and manipulate her into giving him a load of money. So that's kind of their storyline at the moment. Now, side note. Oh, before we do the side note, so throughout that storyline, because obviously Big Bad Boldy is one of the potential victims, there was quite a few times in that storyline where somebody, Kevin or Ronnie, would be like threatening to kill him, basically. So it's kind of setting up that sort of storyline. Side note as well. So remember last time I said Big Bad Boldy and the sister, there was something going on there? They had the sex this week. So...
What?
I know. Any thoughts, feelings, input you have on that storyline, please?
The only thing that is coming to mind at this present moment in time is this is very similar-ish to the classic EastEnders I Ain't Your Mother storyline from however many years back. You Ain't My Mother, or whatever the storyline was. Come on,
I know the storyline. I know the storyline. My confused expression, Vic, is it's quite clearly very different. In this version...
It's not, because it's got a son and a mother pretending to be brother and sister.
Yes, but Victoria, in this version, they are northern.
Ah, I see. Key difference.
Yeah.
Also, my other question / would like some clarification on why this brother and definite brother didn't know that his sister was pregnant and had a kid, who then claimed to be the brother.
I think you're focusing on logistics instead of emotion right now, Vic.
Right, okay. Right, I'm not emotionally invested in these people yet. I'm so sorry.
So the rest of the storylines are, I would say, much smaller. So I'm going to do them all as one big bulk.
Okay.
But there's one... How many are there? Okay.
There looks like there's a lot.
There's a few. Okay. First of the minis. We got Mel and we got Bernie back again.
Okay.
Mini one, Mel and Bernie. Now, actually, this was quite prevalent through the week, but it was a similar thing the whole way through. Basically, Mel is fucking nuts, ultimately. He's stalking Bernie. He's there all the time. He almost locked her in the Roy's Cafe at one point because she works at Roy's Cafe and she was closing down, and he went to lock her in, but luckily someone showed up, so... he was there.
Yay.
But yeah, so this storyline didn't do much except for grow this week. Dev wasn't in it. She still hasn't told Dev. So that storyline has grown this week. Storyline 2 of the mini storylines, we've got the mother-in-law, the grandson, and Lauren. Now, I don't know if you remember last week I mentioned that there was a love interest for Lauren potentially coming up. That was another mini story. This continues to be a mini story. Lauren and one of the grandsons are flirting. They're having a lot of flirting. Mother-in-law hates it, and is basically like saying to anyone who will listen, no, you can't do that.
Is she that sassy about it, or
she's not really.
Okay.
In fact, if anything, she's just rude and mean. But she's there. The next mini storyline, which again was quite big in the week, but I don't think added as much. It was quite big in the week. So this was the Lily and the sister and a paper round. So Lily, the little girl from Shona David's sister, lives in the house. So she wants more money, so she decides to get a paper round. The first day of the paper round, she is halfway round, or basically she throws the papers away rather than delivering them. And then another girl finds the papers. I know. Another girl finds the papers and... Dobbs her in, so she gets fired and loses her job. So then she goes round to the corner shop. Yeah, she goes around to the corner shop to apologise and actually ends up just yelling at them and why they were in the wrong for her not doing her job, basically. But the key takeaway from this mini storyline, I think, will be that the sister is stirring the pot of this. So she is literally sat there just like... oh yeah, they were in the wrong, but then acting to the adults like she's not doing that, but she definitely is doing that. So I think that is a key storyline. The next mini storyline of the week is the corner shop owners. So these were new characters, Vic.
Okay.
The corner shop owners.
Excellent.
So we had a man and a woman. Man Brian is his name. Woman is Rita. I think Rita is a legacy Coronation Street actress. I feel like I've seen her on the front of soap magazines for years. But she may have been in Emmerdale and moved over. I don't know, but I recognise this lady's face. But basically, they seem to be in it for a bit of light entertainment. Besides the Lily paper girl storyline. There's also a long time where Brian talks about a book. That seems to be his main storyline, that he brought a book. So I mean, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. There was a whole scene about the book's called something about the women in white or something, and then this other person comes in and goes, I've read that book, The Women in White Tights, and he's like, no, it's The Woman in White, and she's like, yeah, white tights. And so there's this whole like interaction, which was quite amusing. I quite enjoyed that.
Bit of light-hearted between the drama.
Light-hearted drama. Another small storyline, small contribution to the week. There was a tiny little bit on Theo and Todd. Todd came back from a run, and Theo basically you see Theo giving him £1 for every mile he's run. Basically, that's really seems. Oh, and also I have found out that they're getting married on March the 25th. So,
right.
Don't know if that will go ahead, because obviously Theo is fucking nuts.
Yep.
Two really, really random little observation, one storyline. Okay. There seemed to be this whole thing with the landlord of the pub and a man who, again, I kind of recognise, so he might have been in it a while. And it's just them having drinks in the pub, but it keeps like there'll be something dramatic going on, and then it would go to them, and I just couldn't quite understand what the contribution was to the story. But they're like playing darts, and then they're chatting about going to the football, and like they have this. The conversation starts with the guy saying, "I've got it written down." The guy says, "Do you say slow up or slow down?" And that's basically this whole interaction, how they talk with each other. And I really don't know what relevance any of that had to the show at all, besides it was entertaining for me to watch. Then my other one is just an observation. So when we find out about the Swallow wedding, Ryan is there, and Ryan is a character. And he... and he basically... What does Ryan do? Ryan is in the background, basically, with champagne ready, because basically... Carla is telling Lisa that the hotel is free for this particular day for their wedding, the 23rd of April, and Ryan's there ready to give them champagne to be like, yay, you're getting married that day, but he's like really awkwardly in the background bringing it out and not bringing it out because it's taken a while, and it's just really funny. And I personally, the whole point was meant to be that they're telling the day that they're getting married, but actually the scene stealer for me was Ryan. Ryan totally took that moment.
It's always the people in the background that steal the moments.
Exactly. And Vic?
Yes.
That's what's happening on Corrie this week. This is the part of the show I call the Coronation Street Stats Report. Obviously, we did this last week. The Coronation Street Stats Report is because you know I love numbers, you know I love spreadsheets, and you know I love analytics. So here we go.
Hit me with some numbers then.
Hit me with some numbers. So, number one. So last week we had the number of conversations that happened at Roy's that should have happened at home. I've done the same, and there was only one conversation that happened at Roy's that should have happened at home, but there were two conversations that happened in the pub that should have happened at home. And one was quite funny because this woman walks in and she goes, "Can I speak to you in private?" So she walks behind the bar and just moves to the back of the bar. Now, I have worked in hospitality for many years behind bars, and I can tell you that is not a private place. Go to where you change the kegs. Like, that's the private place.
Yeah.
But
anywhere else, maybe.
Exactly.
The open bar.
Yes. Number two, don't be daft. Don't be daft.
Yep.
Again, was once this week.
Oh.
But I still feel like twice in 2 weeks is more than I would use it in life. So I'm sticking...
I mean, we're from the south and we don't use that in life.
We should. Vic, don't be daft. How many acts of suspicious behaviour do you think we had this week, Vic?
I mean, it's been a pretty intense week. So I'm going to say 4. I think it's going to be less than I think. 4.
9. And I tell you what, 5 of them happened in the first 3 minutes of the week.
Bloody hell. That was a suspicious episode.
I know that episode. That was the one that I walked away with anxiety, just like, what happened today? Okay, how many arguments / storm outs did we have this week?
Oh God. How many? There was 5 episodes again this week, or just yeah?
Yeah, 5.
I'm gonna say 6.
It was 9, although
Oh,
technically
bloody hell.
one of them was a storm in, not a
Oh,
storm
okay,
out.
okay.
But
Right.
9. We had 5. 5 times there was a dramatic pause, which I think is quite not that many actually.
No, I mean it's only 1 per episode, and that's
Exactly. There were 3 circumstances of eavesdropping. One of them was obviously the surveillance of the flat.
Yep.
6 counts of villain energy. 5 obviously being the 5, who from
Yep.
this point onwards will be known as the 5, the Corrie 5.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the 6th one was. I think it might be Mel. I feel like Mel is the 6th. 3 secrets this week, and now we're moving on to the 2 key new topics, which I may or may not keep for next week. The number of times I laughed this week out loud because of Corrie. How many do you think? And I mean jokes, not because of any like suspicious acting or anything like that. I mean actually made me laugh.
Okay. I'm gonna say 3 because it should all be about the acting.
15
Bloody hell.
times, Vic. I'm not gonna lie. Wednesday's episode was brilliant. I was just laughing the whole way through it. So
Laugh a minute there,
I would say a lot of that 15 was basically in that episode. But 15 times, I should have worked out the percentage of laughs to minutes, actually. I'll do that for next week.
Okay, wonderful.
I will. And final category, how many times do you think I audibly gasped because of Corrie this week?
Oh. I mean, the first episode alone sounds like it should have at least 3 gasps in it. At least.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say for the whole week.
Sorry, I just love the way that you put that. It just sounds like there should have been 3 gasps in it. Yeah, okay, all right. Right, go on. You go on.
I think for the whole week we're gonna go with 7.
9 gasps
9.
this week, Vic.
Okay.
9. And that is your Corrie stats report. Okay, Vic, we are moving on to the Corrie Soap Awards. The Corrie Awards, as I like to call them. So this week we have another villain of the week.
Oh, nice.
Our choices are the teacher, the mother-in-law, or the Boldie. Do you have a preference? Do you have an opinion of who should win of the 3 nominees?
I'm gonna say teacher or Boldie.
And it is the teacher. The teacher is our villain of the week.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to teacher. And the reason she's villain of the week is just because she was like manipulating Harry Potter. She's a paedophile, so that's a big reason.
That's up there.
And yeah, and she's playing this very key manipulative game. And also, if I'm being completely honest, I really liked her Stranger Things style cut-in on episode 1 of the week.
Fair enough.
Number 2, second award of the week, Vic, is Most Valued Player, MVP of the week. And this is going to go to someone who I think acted exceptionally well this week. There's only 2 nominees, and it's Betsy and it's Harry Potter.
Okay. Refresh my memory of who Betsy is.
Betsy was the one in the police station at the beginning.
Right, okay.
Okay. And the award goes to... That's drum roll.
Yep.
And the award goes to Betsy.
Okay.
Which might confuse you. She was only in 1 episode this week.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. And I'm not even being sarcastic. I realise I sound sarcastic most of the time. But her acting was really good. And she's quite young. And she was just like really sad, and I really was there with her, and I felt really anxious because of what she went through, and like I really feel like Harry Potter was good this week, and he definitely brought a lot to. He was in most of the episodes and had a lot to do, but she was just very, very good. I thought I was very impressed with Betsy, so she gets most valuable player, MVP of the week. Congratulations, Betsy. Well done, well done. We do have another ick of the week, Vic. We've got another ick of the week.
Okay.
And I tell you, it's going to annoy, I think, all the Swala fans out there because it's a Swala ick of the week. I know.
Oh, God.
The ick of the week goes to Carla from Swala. So basically, she has got Lisa down to the hotel to say that there's become a slot free and they can get married on the 23rd of April. How do you feel about that? And there's like this really long pause where Lisa's obviously, well, it kind of felt like she was thinking about it, but I think actually she was excited about it and just took a long time to react. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe she was tired. But
been a long day.
Then when she did, it had been a long day. And then maybe when she did go to react, Carla goes in and gives her a hug and like is teasing her for her slow reaction and goes, "You little rascal." And it just gave me the ick. I'm not going to lie.
What a phrase to say to somebody you're about to get married to.
I think if my partner called me a little rascal, I'd be like, I'm not your child. Like, I think that would give me the ick. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Swala, you got the ick of the week.
Yeah.
And as I said,
next time.
Do better. As I said, Vic, before, we have got, this week has been, as I said on the Coronation Street Stats Report, this has been a very funny week for Corrie. So I have brought in an award, which is Comedy of the Week. There are 3 potential options for this. Number 1, Comedy of the Week, is Ryan in the Swala scene, where he's like hovering in the background with the thing. That was really funny. And I don't think it was meant to be, but it made me lol a lot. Okay. Number 2 was the 2 men in the pub, but with the random cutaway scenes where they're becoming friends. At one point, they're playing darts, and one of the guys, I can't remember which one, gets a bullseye, and he goes, "Total eclipse of the darts."
Oh, God.
It just made me laugh. It was so good. I was like, whoever wrote that, the second they wrote it, they gave themselves a nice big pat on the back because brilliant. Loved that. Fair enough. And then the third one was the conversation in the shop about this guy's book where he with the lady in white and lady in white tights, and it was just very amusing because you could see the book owner getting more and more frustrated because this other person was going, tights, white tights, and he was like, no, this is a well-known book, lady in white tights. It's very
I've
funny.
never heard of this book, so
Me neither, to be completely honest. Oh, what I should have mentioned actually with that storyline, maybe it's a bit too late now, but somebody stole the book at some point, just so you know. Yeah. And the winner of Comedy of the Week award goes to Ryan! And the reason why is just because I don't think it was meant to be funny, and I think that's what's funny about it. So Ryan wins. Well done.
Congratulations, Ryan.
The next part of the show is Out of Context. This, as a reminder, Vic, is where I tell you some lines that happened this week, some script lines that happened this week in Corrie, and you need to tell me what they're about.
Okay. Hit me.
Okay. This one I find quite profound, and I feel like this should be something we all take on board in life.
Okay, excellent.
Don't walk through the wrong door and spend your life locked in the wrong room.
That is very
honestly
profound.
It was Chinese. It is, isn't it? It was Chinese New Year this year, and I feel like that's fortune cookie level.
That does sound like a fortune cookie.
It does, doesn't it?
But who and where would that have been said in Corrie with everything you've told me so far? I don't know. Was it Mal? Mel, whatever his name is.
male. No, it was a policeman saying it to, so again, Kev, they were in it a lot this week. Kev, Baldy,
Okay.
Ronnie are all down at the police station because they've done a citizen's arrest on Carl, Baldy, and the policeman's basically saying we can't arrest him because it's your word versus his word. And then he gives this really profound statement: don't go down the wrong path, don't go through the wrong room. You might end up locked in the wrong room, whatever, wrong door.
Whatever the quote was.
Yeah. I would go two. We'll do two more. If she were an animal, what kind would she be?
A cat. Is this? I don't know. I can't really remember any of the people, so I'm gonna have to go back to pub people.
This was Mal. When he was trying to get he was trying to get information on Bernie because obviously he's a crazy stalker.
Yeah.
And apparently what he really needed to know was what animal she would be if she would be one.
How that would help him with his stalking situation.
Well, maybe, Vic, like, if someone was giving you cat energy and someone was giving you dog energy, like, if I said I was a cat, if, like, cat energy, you wouldn't stroke them, but dog energy, you would. So, you know, you kind of...
Okay, fine.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah,
so,
right.
I think it possibly could help with your tactics of flirtation.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say so.
And that's a wrap, Vic, on this week's episode. But before we go,
Oh God.
it's time for the Corrie conversion. The bit we've all been waiting for, the bit we're desperate to hear. Is it going to be another 5 points a week? Vic, what are we thinking? Where are you on the Coronation Street scale?
Oh God. Well, I'm going to be brutally honest here with you, Em.
Please
I'm
do.
not sure
please
I've
do.
moved. I think I'm still
From
at zero.
zero?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, I mean, this week has been amazing. How many times have I texted you this week saying Corrie's great this week?
I mean, quite a few.
At least more than once a day sometimes.
That is true.
So I feel like I've let Corrie down.
You haven't. I'm a tough nut to crack, Em.
All right, here's a question for you. For next week, is there a storyline that you're like, oh, I kind of do want to know what's going to happen there?
No. It's the short answer.